Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly.
The time is 10 a.m.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Tony, and we invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. First up this morning, there's a crash in Christian County that claims the life of a 48-year-old driver. Ryan Collins from the Springfield Daily Citizen brings us the story that says a 48-year-old man died in a single vehicle crash in Christian County on Thursday, April 2nd, according to the Missouri State Highway Patrol. A man from Clever was driving a 2007 Honda Ridgeline on Old Wire Road when the vehicle went off the left side of the road and struck a tree, according to the MSHP crash report. The crash occurred just west of Clever city limits. The 48-year-old was pronounced dead at Cox South at 4:52 p.m., according to the report. The report says the man was not wearing a seatbelt. Next of kin have been notified. This is MSHP Troop D's 29th fatality in 2026, according to the report. In further traffic news, police identify a pedestrian who died in a crash on I-44. This report from the Daily Citizen staff says that Springfield police said just before 10 a.m. Thursday, April 2nd, that all lanes of Interstate 44 through Springfield were back open following a deadly pedestrian crash that caused lane closures and snarled traffic during the morning rush hour. Chris Swatters, spokesperson for the Springfield Police Department, said a pedestrian was crossing the interstate near Kansas Expressway just before 5 a.m. when he was hit by a westbound vehicle. The pedestrian died from his injuries. In a news release Thursday afternoon, police identified the pedestrian as Dustin Long, age 25, of Springfield. Westbound lanes of I-44 were closed for hours, but reopened a little before 10 a.m. The circumstances of the crash are part of an ongoing investigation. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810 or make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers at 417-869-TIPS or online at p3tips.com. And a second suspect has been charged in a fatal shooting of a 15-year-old in Greene County. This story by Jackie Rewald in the Springfield Daily Citizen announces that following a 2-week search, authorities have arrested an 18-year-old from Southwest City suspected of killing a Springfield teen last month. Jeffrey Archaga, age 18, was charged on March 16th with a Class A felony of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. At the time the charges were filed, Archaga's whereabouts were unknown and the charging documents were not publicly available. According to a news release from the Greene County Sheriff's Office, Archaga and another individual suspected of being involved in the homicide were arrested on Tuesday, March 31st in Webb City. Authorities have not publicly identified the other individual who was arrested. Following is a booking photo of Jeffrey Archaga taken by the Greene County Sheriff's Office. He's wearing a white t-shirt and backed up against a gray cinder block wall and looking quite unhappy. The unidentified suspect is possibly a juvenile, which would explain why no information about that suspect has been released. The victim was 15-year-old Miles Young, who was declared dead at Cox South Hospital on March 12, 2026. Court documents state Young had a single gunshot wound to his chest. Praise King, age 18, was arrested on March 18th. King is also charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action for his suspected role in Young's death. An unconfirmed report is that Jeffrey made a phone call after shooting Miles and was braggadocious about the incident, a Greene County detective wrote in a probable cause statement, which became available to the public on Thursday, April 2nd. According to the statement, witnesses told investigators they believe Young had been set up because a juvenile identified as J1 in the statement, quote, blamed Miles for the death of the victim in a 2025 homicide case. Following headline reads, what investigators believe happened. In the request for warrant for Archaga, the prosecutor summarized what investigators believe happened leading up to Young's death. Defendant planned and set up a 15-year-old boy to be murdered. Defendant ambushed victim, chased victim on foot, and shot victim as victim was stating he wanted to live. Defendant ran from scene and reportedly fled from the state to avoid apprehension. The probable cause statement from Archaga's case, which remained sealed from public view until after Archaga was arrested, provides more details. According to the statement, J1 arrived at a Springfield residence in the early morning hours of Thursday, March 12th to pick up Young, who was under the belief he would be having sex with J1. Witnesses told investigators that prior to J1 contacting Young, 5 individuals, Archaga, J1, Juvenile Witness 3, also known as W3, Juvenile Witness 4 or W4, and Suspect 1 or S1, have been driving around Springfield while J1, Archaga, and S1 allegedly discussed setting up Young. Since King has also been charged with the first-degree murder and armed criminal action for his role in Young's death, it seems likely that King is S1 in the probable cause statement. Following is a booking photo of Mr. King taken by the Greene County Sheriff's Office. He too is in a plain white t-shirt against a gray cinder block wall and looking less than thrilled. The 5 individuals traveled to the Seminole Apartments to retrieve a second vehicle belonging to S1's sister. Archaga, W3, and W4, and King, who was driving, stayed in the first vehicle. J1 drove solo in a black Mercedes to pick up Young, who was at a residence with a juvenile witness identified as W1 in the statement. Young was also on a FaceTime call with a juvenile witness identified as W2. The following subheading reads, "Victim was warned not to go with girl." According to the statement, W1 and W2 both warned Young not to go with J1, and that W1 and W2 felt it was a setup, as J1 had previously mentioned J1 disliked Miles, and that they believed J1 blamed Miles for the 2025 homicide case. When J1 arrived to pick up Young, W1 reported that Young appeared to search the vehicle for other occupants before getting in the car. According to the statement, W2, who was still on the FaceTime call with Young, also witnessed Young searching the vehicle, including the trunk, to ensure there wasn't anybody else in the Mercedes. During this time, and while Young got into the Mercedes with J1, W2 continued the call with Young, but the camera wasn't active. Still, W2 stated they could hear what was happening. According to the statement, J1 drove east in the 3800 block of West Maplewood Street to an area that was captured on a home security camera nearby. The individuals in the other vehicle, Archaga, S1, W3, and W4, allegedly used Archaga's phone to watch J1's location and then traveled west on West Maplewood Street, driving toward J1 and Young. According to the statement, S1 turned his vehicle to block the road, which forced J1 to stop the Mercedes. The following subheading is a quote that says, "I just don't want to die." Young then exited the vehicle and began fleeing. According to the statement, Archaga was wearing a black ski mask, carrying a black pistol as he pursued Young. S1 also exited the vehicle and pursued Young. It is heard by W3, one of the 2 individuals yelling, "Don't run now," and they pursued him, the detective wrote in the statement. W2 remained on the phone with Miles and described hearing Miles fall to the ground or drop his phone, which occurred in front of the residence mentioned above. W2 hears a gunshot, followed by Miles stating, "I just don't want to die," the detective wrote. W2 then heard the sound of 2 more gunshots. According to the statement, W3 and W4 got out of the vehicle when they heard the first gunshot and got in the Mercedes driven by J1. This trio traveled to W3's residence, where J1 allegedly made multiple calls to get someone to pick her up. J1 then left the residence. W1 owns the cell phone Young was using at the time of the shooting. W1 used the Find My application to locate the phone. According to the statement, W1 eventually found the phone on the side of 3804 West Maplewood Street. W1 then saw Young lying in the driveway with a, quote, substantial amount of blood on him. W1 called 911. EMS arrived and provided life-saving efforts to Young before transporting him to Cox South Hospital, where Young was pronounced dead. As they investigated the scene, a Greene County detective found a cell phone in the roadway a few houses east of where Young was found. The cell phone had a photo on the lock screen of someone believed to be S1. The phone continually rang during the investigation, with the caller identification displaying the name of J1, the detective wrote in the report. Both King and Archaga remain in the Greene County Jail without bond. According to court documents, Archaga is also a suspect in another assault investigation involving a firearm, and he is believed to be affiliated with the 1300 gang. And in breaking news this morning, a U.S. fighter jet is down in Iran. The Springfield News-Leader brings us live updates from USA Today, the first of which posted at 9:23 a.m. Central Time. A U.S. fighter jet went down over Iran, kicking off a search and rescue operation for the plane's crew members, multiple news outlets reported on April 3rd. It's unclear if the service members on board are alive, and the U.S. military has mounted a search for them, according to the New York Times, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal. An update posted at 9:44 a.m. Central Time says that a search and rescue operation was underway April 3rd for the crew of a U.S. fighter jet that was downed over Iran, multiple news outlets reported. The fate of the service members on board was unclear, according to reports from the New York Times, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal. Nearly 5 weeks after the United States and Israel conducted joint airstrikes on Iran, thousands of people have been killed and tens of thousands have been injured across the Middle East. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies has warned that medical needs were rising exponentially in the region and supplies could run low. The war has also raised oil prices, with U.S. gas prices reaching the highest point in years, as analysts warn there will be no relief in sight as long as the war continues. And area veterans have been invited to Washington, D.C. on an honor flight. This article from Janice Reeser in the Springfield News-Leader says that Honor Flight of the Ozarks has scheduled its first mission of 2026 for April 22nd. The organization will conduct 3 missions in 2026, with additional flights planned for July 7th and October 21st. According to a community announcement, the trips provide veterans from Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas with an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to visit memorials built in their honor. Flights will depart early in the morning from Springfield Branson National Airport and return later the same evening. Key stops during the trip. During their visit to the nation's capital, veterans will tour the World War II Memorial, Korean War Veterans Memorial, and Vietnam Veterans Memorial, all located near the Lincoln Memorial. Other stops include the Marine Corps War Memorial and Arlington National Cemetery. At Arlington National Cemetery, participants will witness the, quote, changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. In 2024, Honor Flight of the Ozarks took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The organization will have that honor again during the October 21st mission. Since its inception in 2014, Honor Flight of the Ozarks has provided 2,207 veterans with what it calls one more mission with honor to Washington, D.C. In 2025, 238 veterans took part in the experience. Eligible veterans in Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas are encouraged to contact Honor Flight of the Ozarks. There is no cost for veterans who qualify. For more information, call Honor Flight of the Ozarks at 417-268-9052 or visit honorflightoftheozarks.org. And the Route 66 Centennial Traveling Exhibit to arrive in Springfield. Janice Reeser in the Springfield News-Leader brings us the story that says a traveling exhibit celebrating the 100th anniversary of Route 66 will roll into Springfield, offering visitors a chance to explore the history and culture of the iconic highway. The Route 66 Centennial Traveling Exhibit will make its debut April 30th at the Gilios Gallery at 325 Park Central East, Suite 200 in Springfield, according to a community announcement. The exhibit features nearly 24 large-scale interpretive panels, audio-visual mini-documentaries, and educational components highlighting the diverse stories of people connected to Route 66. The exhibit draws from documentarian Katrina Parks' PBS series, Route 66, The Untold Story of Women on the Mother Road. It aims to show how Route 66 has shaped American history, culture, and identity through the experiences of those who lived, worked, and traveled along it. From the glow of neon signs to the steady hum of tires on open pavement, every mile of Route 66 tells a story, Parks said in the announcement. For nearly a century, the road has drawn visitors from around the world and continues to hold countless stories waiting to be uncovered. The Route 66 Centennial Traveling Exhibit brings these stories to life and highlights the humanity of the Mother Road from a variety of perspectives. The following subheading reads Schedule of Events. The exhibit will open at 3 p.m. with a conversation featuring Kaisa Bartuli, Program Director for the National Park Service Route 66 Corridor Preservation Program, and Irv Logan and Elizabeth Calvin, who will share the story of their grandmother, Alberta Ellis, and her hotel, a vital stop for Black travelers listed in the Green Book. At 4 p.m., Kathleen Seal will present on the history of the rotoscope film process developed by Roe Carney Jr. of Rolla and his colleague Tom Smith of Urbana. Township and Range will perform at 5 p.m., followed by a panel discussion at 6 p.m. led by Parks, educational content developer Carrie Koosman, Missouri Route 66 Association CFO Larry Cernick, and Association President Jeremy Morris. Exhibit will be open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. May 1st during the First Friday Art Walk. School groups are encouraged to visit. The Missouri Jazz Orchestra will play from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. On May 2nd, the exhibit will be open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The exhibit then will move to Cuba, Missouri, with a special opening event from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. May 3rd at the Crawford County Historical Society at 308 North Smith Street. The event will feature live music, food from local restaurants, and a panel discussion at 1 p.m. with author Joe Sonderman, Cherokee historian Galen Gritz, and other guests sharing their experiences along Route 66. Area schools are invited to bring students for special guided tours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on May 4th. School groups are asked to RSVP in advance to info@visitcubamo.com. The traveling exhibit is made possible with support from the Missouri Route 66 Centennial Commission, Missouri Humanities, the Missouri Route 66 Association, the Gilios, and other institutions. It will continue to travel to communities along Route 66, highlighting local histories and connecting them to the broader national story. Additional stops in Missouri will include Pacific on September 16th and 17th, Carthage on September 18th and 20th, and the St. Louis Public Libraries. For more information, visit www.route66exhibit.com or contact Katrina Parks at info@assertionfilms.com. And an ICE officer warned Branson police of blitz without contract. Marta Meese from the Springfield News-Leader brings us this story that says, in February, Branson's Board of Aldermen unanimously signed off on a plan to have the city's police department enroll in a program to carry out immigration enforcement actions. The public meeting drew dozens of people opposed to the agreement, with about 3 hours of public comment. Records obtained by the News-Leader under Missouri's open records law revealed that throughout the meeting, the chief of police was receiving text messages from a local ICE officer who provided talking points to rebut comments made by the public. A memorandum of agreement between Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Branson Police Department through the 287G program was approved February 10th. The contract provides for certain law enforcement officers to be trained and, after an examination, authorized to perform certain functions of a federal immigration officer. The city document outlines that participating personnel will have the authority to interrogate any undocumented immigrant or person believed to be an undocumented immigrant about their right to be or remain in the U.S., arrest without a warrant, anyone believed to be in the U.S. in violation of the law and likely to escape before a warrant can be obtained, and the power to issue immigration detainers and take and maintain custody of those arrested pursuant to immigration laws, among others. Dozens of people from Branson and surrounding small towns, as well as Springfield, spoke against the contract, sharing concerns about overextending power, inciting fear in the local immigrant community, and highlighting unease with how ICE has handled situations in Missouri and beyond. As people made comments, Branson Police Chief Eric Schmidt, who had presented the contract to the board at the start of the public hearing, was texting and taking notes. Following subheading reads that texts warn of ICE action without contract. Records obtained by the News-Leader under Missouri's Sunshine Law reveal the chief was exchanging text messages with an ICE officer who was sending responses to the public's comment. Daniel Bird, Supervisory Detention and Deportation Officer at Springfield's ICE sub-office, was texting while watching the public meeting live online, calling some of the comments BS and lies and warning of an ICE blitz in Branson if the agreement did not pass. Schmidt told the News-Leader he was taking notes in case the board asked him to address the comments made by the public, though it never did. In his presentation, the police chief emphasized that local officers would be far more restrained than ICE would be in how they would carry out immigration enforcement, only focusing on situations where a crime was being committed. Following is a photo of Branson Police Chief Eric Schmidt as he presents the details of the agreement that would grant the Immigration Enforcement Authority to Branson Police Department officers. That was taken on Tuesday, February 10th of this year. The text exchanges include Bird noting, quote, "This is a way to keep us out of Branson," and, quote, "You can let us in there or we will put Branson on the list." Bird also sent texts starting with the number 200, upping it to 1,000 and then 3,000. Schmidt said he interpreted this as meaning ICE would deploy agents to the city to saturate the area for a certain amount of time to detain as many undocumented immigrants as possible, with the numbers likely referring to the number of agents deployed if Branson did not enter into the agreement. When the News-Leader reached out to ICE, the agency did not address these comments specifically, nor provide clarification about what Bird was referring to in his texts. A spokesperson with the Department of Homeland Security provided the following statement via email. Quote, "Partnerships with law enforcement are critical to having the resources we need to arrest criminal illegal aliens across the country. We have had tremendous success when local law enforcement work with us." Bird also sent texts to Schmidt saying comments about a lack of due process for ICE detainees were BS and that everyone gets due process. However, several news reports have chronicled instances in which people were deported without proper notice and the ability to challenge their detention, with the issues also heard in federal court. Politico recently reported that immigration judges were widely denying release on bond despite a lack of evidence that would justify to detain. When Bird asked Schmidt whether he should say something at the meeting himself, Schmidt responded that a lot of people were there because of the social media lies, and in a later text indicated the board knew that it is all BS. Speaking to the News-Leader last week, Schmidt stood by those comments, referring to some of the talking points speakers were making as, quote, TikTok propaganda. There were some that went so far as to compare me to Hitler and, officers to the Gestapo and fascists and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's BS, he said. The majority of what was said, especially from the people that came down from Springfield that had no clue, had never had any interaction with my officers. The insinuation, for instance, that we were going to be breaking out windows and removing parents from cars with the kids there. My department just doesn't operate like that. Even before the public comments began, Schmidt had argued the agreement was a way to ensure local officers who are familiar with the community take on immigration enforcement instead of federal officers who would be more heavy-handed. But he also said ICE does not need Branson's permission to start its own enforcement in the city. When it comes down to it, if they want to come down to Branson and saturate the area, they're going to do that, and I can't prevent them from doing that, Schmidt told the News-Leader. However, with us as a teammate and a partner, this allows them to continue to focus on some of their bigger areas up north, and then they have that resource down here. We have a lot more ability on a local level to handle the problems with local officers that understand the culture and able to kind of keep the peace in a better way. Following is a sign for the Branson Police Headquarters at 1 Justice Street in Branson. That was taken on Tuesday, March 31st of this year. It appears to be a street sign that reads 1 Justice Street, with a black and white sign below that says Branson, Missouri Police Station. The chief said that he had looked into the ICE program before, but only recently did the opportunity arise to sit down with ICE representatives to talk through specifics. That's likely due to the administrative change in the White House and President Donald Trump's emphasis on immigration enforcement since taking office. Through those conversations, Schmidt said he was able to ensure that his department would retain discretion about when to use that authority. He said the agreement does not require Branson officers to follow ICE orders. This allows me to decide on a per-case scenario, or my designees on a per-case scenario, whether we play or not, he said. Let's say they did send 1,000 agents down here. Well, that's going to far outnumber the number of officers I have. If it was a large operation, their agents would have to be involved with the public on a much higher basis, and I would much rather have my officers be the ones involved with the public because I know how I train them. While comments made by leaders at the February meeting indicated the police department would not receive any monetary support outside of reimbursement for travel related to training of officers, emails obtained by the News-Leader through its Sunshine Law request show Byrd shared a benefits package with Schmidt in September 2025. The benefits package includes $100,000 for new vehicles, $7,500 per credited officer for equipment, reimbursement of 25% of credited officer's salary and benefits, 100% reimbursement for credited officer overtime pay, and up to $1,000 per credited officer as a quarterly bonus. Schmidt said he clarified that point with the alderman who made a comment about there being no federal financial benefits after the February meeting. He also noted that because those benefits are not within the contract signed, they are not guaranteed and would still have some requirements such as actively participating in immigration enforcement. The information provided, Schmidt said, was based on what other agencies had received last year as a way to incentivize wider participation in the program. So we're not making any plans as an agency, budget-wise or anything, he said. So what happens next? Well, while the agreement has been in place for more than a month now, Schmidt said it will be about 2 months until the program is put into practice. He said that he nominated all eligible officers who did not express opposition to participating for training. In order for police officers to be eligible to be trained and perform ICE duties, they must have at least 2 years of law enforcement experience. After training and certification is completed, the officer will be authorized to perform functions of an immigration officer for an initial 2-year period, according to the agreement. This authorization can be revoked at any time. Schmidt said he plans to complete the 40-hour online training himself and then write the department's own policy to establish guardrails for how local officers will carry out those powers, such as requiring a criminal connection and having supervisor approval. Officers have 60 days to complete the training at their own pace. I want to make sure that, there's some kind of criminal nexus, quality of life, or danger issue, or something going on along those lines, so that we're just not spending all our time dealing with 287G stuff, because that does take our officers away from, other activities in Branson, he said. The agreement will remain in effect indefinitely until one of the parties decides to terminate it. Either party can pull out of the agreement at any time with 48-hour notification. So, how widespread are these programs? Well, Branson Police Department is far from the only one participating in the program that gives local law enforcement authority, usually reserved for federal immigration officers. The 287G program operates under 4 different models: jail enforcement, warrant service officer, tribal task force, and task force, the model for Branson Police and most other agencies in Missouri. Some agencies have several agreements to participate in multiple of the models, according to the ICE database, current as of March 27th. The Missouri State Highway Patrol has had an agreement in place for a year through an executive order from Governor Mike Kehoe, while several municipal police departments have signed on more recently. According to the ICE database of 287G participants, none of the agencies in Missouri have had a standing agreement prior to 2025. The vast majority, 40, have signed on since the start of 2026. A large percentage of contracts are concentrated in the southwest parts of the state. The DHS spokesperson also noted that nationwide, 287G partnerships have increased from 137 agreements when Trump took office to 1,586 agreements as of Wednesday, April 1st. ICE has supercharged efforts with state and local law enforcement to assist federal immigration officers in our efforts to make America safe again, an emailed statement noted. For Schmidt, participating in the program was a way to take a more scalpel-like approach to immigration enforcement locally, to help local law enforcement deal with those who commit crimes while hopefully shielding others who may be undocumented in Branson from wider ICE action. In his eyes, the contract is a win for all. If we do our jobs correctly in Branson, then really is going to be low need or likelihood for ICE to come down here. I firmly believe that, Schmidt said. It provides us with a lot of ability to continue with the high level of law enforcement standards that we have down here and assist federal, agents with some of our common problem areas. Marta Meese covers local government at the News-Leader. If you have feedback, tips, or story ideas, you can contact her at mmieze@news-leader.com. And the Golden Goose Cafe to fill a long vacant space at the Library Center. This story from Joe Hadsall in the Springfield Daily Citizen begins with a photo of Travis Whitney, the owner of Golden Goose Cafe, as he holds a tray of homemade snickerdoodles. Looks like 5 very large snickerdoodles on this tray, and he is gloved up and smiling and looks happy to be serving. Travis Whitney has noted the empty space in the Library Center where a cafe used to be for more than a year. He's been watching it ever since he saw it was vacant while he was waiting to vote in the 2024 presidential election. It just started to sit with me, and I thought it would be really cool to do something with that space, Whitney said Thursday. I have been working up exactly what I wanted to do and everything I wanted to try and make here, and now we're finally to the point where we're getting all those ideas out into the world. Whitney is the owner of Golden Goose Cafe, a new eatery nestled inside the library. Once he receives business permits issued from the city, he and 3 others will offer custom coffee drinks and a variety of fresh pastries and other treats. It will fill a space that has been vacant for more than a year. Formerly occupied by Mud House, Seattle Roast, and Polymath Cafe, library workers and patrons are excited to smell baked treats wafting through the air, especially library workers who have been recruited to sample flavors and make recommendations. Staff members are excited because we get coffee in a cafe again, said Jesse Alexander, who's the branch manager of the Library Center. But also, almost every day, a patron asks why we don't have coffee and where did the cafe go. We have learned how much of a core part of the library experience this has become for people. The following subheading reads that they are opening soon with homemade offerings. The first notice of the Golden Goose opening will be announced on the cafe's Instagram page. Its offerings include breakfast buns, a twist on the kolache that results in a golden round steamed bun filled with sausage, egg, and cheese. Everything inside the buns will be hand prepared using as many locally sourced ingredients as possible. Following is another photo of Travis Whitney as he prepares the dough that will be used for croissants. This time he is joined by a female worker assisting him. It's mostly a pastry dough. They use it for open-faced Danish that you'll see with cheese and filling in the middle. But then Texas came along and put meat in them instead, Whitney said. It's like a pig in a blanket for them. But I took the idea of doing that, but enrobing it around to make it a breakfast pocket, a steamed bun. He also has a variety of other confections, such as cookies, cinnamon rolls, and fresh baked croissants made with homemade dough. In addition to coffee, the Golden Goose will offer mocktails and refreshers in time for warmer summer months. Their coffee is a special Golden Goose blend from Foxen Coffee and Full Octave Coffee. His 3 employees all have previous barista experience. The idea is to make as many things as possible in-house to keep costs down. I would say most people don't come to the library because they want to spend money, Whitney said. So I'm going to try and make this competitive to see if I can price things to the point where, even though I'm trying to compete with Starbucks, I want to beat them on price as well as taste. The following subheading says, Finding a Love for Food. Whitney, a former IT professional, calls this venture his second life. When COVID happened, he learned more about preparing food and discovered a knack for it. He also learned how much satisfaction he got from preparing meals for friends. He quickly signed up for culinary classes at Ozarks Tech and earned his certification as a chef. He has worked at Wire Road Brewing Company and as a sous chef for several of the ventures in 14 Mill Market, a Nixa-based food hall. As he grows in the culinary industry, he appreciates how food is a connection to communities, history, and culture. I think with quick service and a lot of things that we have in town, you lose the humanity and a lot of the friendliness that they portray, Whitney said. But that's the part I enjoy the most, is the connection that food provides. First originating in Grimm's fairy tales, the golden goose is a story of a beautiful bird whose gilded feathers arouse avarice in 3 farm girls. When they try to steal some of its feathers, they instead get stuck to the bird, resulting in a strange parade that brings a smile to the face of a dour princess. It is different than Aesop's fable of a goose that lays golden eggs. But both stories appeal to Whitney because of a similar message: hard work pays off and takes everyday consistency, not short selling for profits that quickly disappear. Following is a close-up photo of these delicious-looking snickerdoodles that will be one of the Golden Goose Cafe's bakery treats. They are golden brown and fluffy and look to be coated with a nice dusting of cinnamon and sugar. The following headline reads that the library is not a typical retail space. Opening in the library is not the same as opening in a strip mall. Even though Whitney first pitched the idea, the publicly funded library had to follow a bidding procedure. Alexander said that finding enough parties to submit bids required a second bidding process. Following is a photo of a golden goose sitting in front of a sign that says the Library Center is excited to welcome the Golden Goose Cafe coming soon. And there's a QR code where folks can scan to learn more. Whitney was chosen in the end by a group of executive staff members, Alexander said. His overall presentation of understanding the role that a library plays in the community and how a cafe fits into that was part of it, Alexander said. The committee also liked the ideas he has regarding trying to work as much as possible with locally sourced and grown foods. The idea of doing a Golden Goose storybook theme was a plus as well. Alexander said that the Golden Goose will also benefit from a recent upgrade. Friends of the library recently donated a grant to improve a pavilion with a canopy and more outdoor seating. It's a place that Whitney said he is honored to occupy. Golden Goose is not a business idea he would build in any other location, he said. While he would like to open another restaurant eventually, he considers this more about being part of a community of library users. For me, obviously, I want to make enough money to stay in business, but making money is not the idea of being here, Whitney said. The idea of being here is actually being part of the community more than anything. Following is a photo of Alice Dia of Sparta as she shopped Thursday at the Best Friends gift shop inside the library center. Looks like they have a large variety of items to choose from if you've not been there. Another business operating in the library is seeing renewed interest. While the Between Friends gift shop has remained open, new manager April Clore has brought a refresh to its product offerings. Clore, who has worked at the gift shop for almost 2 years, took on the manager role a few months ago. The store sells literary-themed merchandise, as well as other novelties, toys, games, and greeting cards. Clore said she loves hearing customers' delights at finding things they adore. That includes small prizes and rewards. The library hosts many teachers and tutors who stop by the shop after a student has done well. That's one of my favorite parts, is looking for new merchandise for customers, Clore said. I try to buy about 50% bookish merchandise to appeal to our bibliophiles. Then I try to find fun, novelty, quirky items that will make people laugh. And thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Come by and see us in person with daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. Veterans receive a 25% discount every day, providing significant savings as a token of appreciation for their service. Additionally, the store features a weekly clothing sale where all clothing items are available at 50% off every Wednesday. Seniors age 55 and older benefit from a 25% discount every Tuesday, making shopping more affordable for the senior community. And through tragedy and grief, former Hillcrest softball standout Haley Frillman finds her spark at Mission University. This story by Ryan Collingwood and the Springfield Daily Citizen begins with a photo of Mission University infielder Haley Frillman as she's embraced by her teammates during senior day ceremonies at Cooper Sports Complex. They are all wearing the signature blue color, and she's being hugged by other women and holding a small child. There's a tingling, often numbing sensation that regularly shoots down the left leg of Mission University infielder Haley Frillman. Sometimes it stings. As the former Hillcrest standout pushes through nerve damage in her lower body, she throws with a right hand not long removed from reconstructive surgery. These maladies aren't the result of a violent collision at home plate or an unfortunate tumble at her Springfield residence. Sense could be drawn from those instances. The 3 bullets that tore through Frillman's body on November 14, 2023, were senseless. Frillman, then 29 weeks pregnant, and her late boyfriend, Chavez Nguyen, were the victims of what Greene County prosecutors have described as a drive-by shooting by way of mistaken identity. One of the reported gunmen has since been sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder and a litany of other charges, while 4 others await trial. Frillman and Nguyen had no ties to the vehicle of gang-related teenagers who allegedly fired dozens of rounds into a car driven by Frillman near downtown Springfield, one of which grazed her skull. Much of the community was shaken by the brazen nature of the attack. Compounding the tragedy was the death of a young, well-liked former Parkview and Lincoln University football player in Nguyen, who would never get to see the birth of his son, Zaire. Frillman's physical injuries led to a high-risk pregnancy and months of wheelchair use. Her mental trauma from the incident can't be quantified. Following is another photo of Haley Frillman as she reacts excitedly from the dugout during a doubleheader at Cooper Sports Complex. Again, she's wearing the iconic blue uniform and a visor to match, along with some red and white ribbons in her hair. Today, she's thankful she and Zaire are alive and often references her faith in God. The powder blue jersey she wears and the courses she studies at the small Christian college, an NAIA member on Kearney Street, convey her strides toward normalcy. Frillman's return to school and the game she loves, all while balancing the duties of young motherhood and her evening job as a short-term rental Airbnb manager, are a tribute to Nguyen. Taking this step was a way to honor him in a way that I knew would make him proud, said Frillman, who will graduate from Mission in May with a business degree. This is not just for me, but for him. And for the Patriots, who boast a 13-9 record and a 2-2 mark in the American Midwest Conference. Frillman, a 2019 Hillcrest graduate, didn't revive her collegiate softball career last fall at the age of 24. She turns 25 this month. To watch it from the dugout. A feeling of unfinished business was among the secondary reasons her name is on the roster. After starting all 4 years at Hillcrest and earning postseason honors, Frillman signed with Missouri Valley College before injuring her knee this summer, heading into fall season of her freshman year. By the time she was cleared to play, the COVID-19 pandemic had shut down sports across the country in the spring of 2020. Frillman would never see the field for the Vikings before opting to return to Springfield and take online courses. She would go on to play at NGCAA Crowder College, but a quad injury coupled with joining the Neosho-based program at semester and, later than most of her teammates, led to limited playing time. Frillman would return to Springfield again, hang up her cleats, and pursue coursework at Ozarks Tech while working and ultimately meeting and spending much of her time with Nguyen. Tragedy would ultimately pull her in a different direction. I was in a really, really dark place after the shooting, said Frillman. My kid is my purpose, but with him being a newborn, things were so slow, and when you're not doing much, you're in your own head a lot with everything I was going through. It was dark. Following is a photo of Haley Frillman as she slides into home plate during a doubleheader at the Cooper Sports Complex. She's got a teammate coming up to bat ready to cheer her on there at home plate. Her sister, Maya Frillman, another former Hillcrest standout, 5 years Haley's junior, entering her freshman year at Mission, tossed out a suggestion to help Haley put her mind elsewhere. What if we played together? Froman and Nguyen joked about returning to their respective college sports before his passing, as it didn't seem feasible at the time. This did. Froman proceeded to write a lengthy, detailed email to Mission softball coach Dana Minders about her circumstance, a desire to play, and if there was a place on the team for a player 4 years removed from competition. There was, and she's playing like she never stopped. Froman has appeared in 19 games this season, registering 8 starts. She is batting a team-leading .392 with 11 RBI, .647 slugging percentage, and 2 home runs. It's given me more purpose, Froman said. I have deadlines and assignments. It's keeping my mind busy all of the time, especially on the softball side. There have been times when her son is sick, Froman said, causing her to miss time. Sometimes her toddler son goes with her to practices. The team has been accommodating. Minders had no doubt Froman could contribute to the program in several capacities. She is the kind of player every team hopes for, but few are lucky enough to have. What she's overcome to get here speaks volumes about grit and perseverance, Minders said. But it's the way she shows up every single day for herself and her teammates that truly defines her. At third base, she has been nothing short of outstanding, and at the plate, she has been a key part of our offense. More than that, she's embraced the light of this team, lifting others up, staying steady through adversity, and proving that resilience and heart can carry you a long way. Following is another photo of Haley Frillman, and she's smiling as she walks back to the dugout with her teammates after the Patriots won the first game of a doubleheader at Cooper Sports Complex. The hard-swinging Frillman is grateful for the opportunity. I was very blessed with this team and having these individuals to be surrounded by, she said. Bringing girls together is not always ideal, and there's always a little bit of drama, but this team has been so supportive, and they are the kindest people I've ever met. Frillman isn't the same player she was physically coming out of Hillcrest 7 years ago, she said, but mentally the game has slowed down for her. It's yielded positive results. On March 5th against Southwest College, Frillman hit her first collegiate home run in an eventual 2-1 win, a shot that cleared the left field fence at Cooper Sports Complex. As she trotted around the base paths, a wave of emotion hit. Waiting for her at home plate was her younger sister and teammate, a pairing that wouldn't have otherwise come to fruition because of their age gap. I shouldn't be here, or be alive, but here I am hitting a home run, she said. Following is a photo of Haley Frillman again. This time she is accompanied by Damian Frillman, her sister Maya Frillman. She's holding her son Zaire, and also accompanied by Officer Joel Henry and Sarah Frillman, as everyone poses together during the Senior Day ceremonies at Cooper Sports Complex. Officer Henry, standing beside her there, was the first responder in the November 2023 shooting where she and her partner were involved. 3 weeks later, at the same venue, those emotions resurfaced. Though Frillman is classified as a junior, she took part in senior night, as this will be her final season. Escorting her in the ceremony, along with her sister, Father Damian Frillman and Mother Sarah Frillman, was Springfield Police Officer Joel Henry, a first responder the night of the shooting. They would witness another Frillman homer that would help the Patriots down Crowley's Ridge 8-4. She continues to find light in a dark circumstance. This situation is definitely the worst, but Maya and I both agree that this is something Nguyen would be super proud of, and that gives us the strength to keep doing it. Even on the hardest days, he would be so proud of what we're doing right now and doing it together. And we have several birthdays today in the celebrity world. First up, we have Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris, who turns 28 today. Can you believe that? Actress Amanda Bynes turns 40. Pop singer Leona Lewis is 41 today. Adam Scott, best known for his role in comedic films and his role in Parks and Rec, turns 53 today. Actor Eddie Murphy turns 65. Happy birthday, Eddie Murphy. David Hyde Pierce, known for his role as the brother in Frasier, turns 67. And Alec Baldwin turns 68 today. We wish them all a happy birthday on this April 3rd, 2026. And speaking of the arts, Aubrey Logan and the Missouri Jazz Orchestra are going to bring big band sound to the Gillios Jazz Festival. This article by Jeff Kessinger and the Springfield Daily Citizen begins with a photo of Aubrey Logan, who is renowned for her vocal prowess as well as her trombone playing. In this photo, she is wearing a chocolate brown dress and heels that match her brown hair very nicely. She has a leg kicked up and looking very playful with a flowy part of her dress in one hand and her trombone in the other. She will collaborate with the Missouri Jazz Orchestra at the Gillios Jazz Festival on April 4th. That photo was taken by Amy Golick. It's fair to say that Aubrey Logan needed a little persuading when her manager suggested the jazz musician, noted for her vocal prowess as well as her trombone playing, make her next project a big band album. I said, "You're insane. That's the most expensive thing we could possibly do. That's a lot of people to pay," Logan said by phone on March 30th. But it turned out to be such a blessing because now I'm traveling around the United States playing with big bands. The Missouri Jazz Orchestra is the next big band Logan will be playing with. They'll collaborate in the headlining concert of the Gillios Jazz Festival at 7:30 p.m. on April 4th at the historic Gillios Theater. "I made a big band album after years of not doing it at all, which is funny because it's how I got my start," Logan said. "You hear people talk about jazz as if it's boring, and I'm like, not the people I was inspired by, not at all, not for a second." Growing up in a musical household. Logan grew up in Seattle, the daughter of a pair of music educators. Her mother was a choir teacher and her father a band teacher. That upbringing exposed her to a wide variety of music. "My dad was a trumpet player and my mom was a singer, so I just started emulating all the stuff they were playing," she said. "I was copying Al Jarreau and Whitney Houston and Stevie Wonder and Linda Ronstadt. Whatever it was they were playing, I just tried to sing like them as a kid." She says she always had the urge to perform, and her parents took her to musical theater, audition after audition. Logan also sang in church and got her first paid gig when she was 9 years old, singing the national anthem at a Seattle Mariners game. She was a regular anthem performer for the Mariners as well as the Seattle Seahawks until she was in high school. "I did any local performance, anything," Logan said. "I don't remember performing not being a thing in my mind. Well, of course I need to sing for somebody. That was always there." The following headline reads, "I love that the trombone is like the human voice in the way that you can make it sing." And following is a photo of Aubrey Logan playing the trombone. Says she chose the trombone when she joined her school's band at the age of 12. Her band career, however, started a little later. She took a break from her school to focus on musical theater, and when she returned around age 12, her friends were all in the band. "My mom was the choir director at my school, so there was no way I wanted to be in choir," Logan said. "I felt like I was breaking the rules to join because I didn't do beginning band. A little nepotism goes a long way." After her mother spoke with the band director, telling him that even though Logan couldn't play an instrument, she could sing and read music, Logan's father brought home several instruments for her to try, including his trumpet. "He also brought a saxophone, a flute, and I tried them all," she said. "I could make a noise on the trombone that was satisfying that night, so I chose the trombone. And I wanted to be in the jazz band. I didn't want to just be in the concert band. I guess I didn't see enough flutes in jazz to choose the flute. But I chose the trombone, and then I started listening to jazz. It was a wise choice. She loves playing the trombone to this day. I love that it's a lot like the human voice and the expressiveness, the way you can make it sing," Logan said. "And I'm a singer, so it kind of goes together for me, and I do love that. People will ask me, 'What do you like better, trombone or singing?' And I really dislike that question because in my mind, I don't separate the two, other than the trombone is infinitely harder for me. But I don't separate the two in my mind when I'm playing a song. You're expressing what you need to be expressing at the time." Following is a subheading that reads, "A career built on collaborations," and a photo of the Missouri Jazz Orchestra, also known as Mojo, which is a 17-piece big band based in Springfield. And here they are all playing in a seated vicinity with signs in front that read Missouri Jazz Orchestra and Mojo. In the early stages of her career, Logan won the Jury and Audience Awards at the prestigious Sur Montreux Jazz Festival voice competition. She has traveled the world performing her music, playing stages including Radio City Music Hall, the Sydney Opera House, and the Hollywood Bowl. Along the way, she has featured in 2 nationally televised PBS specials and landed multiple top 10 Billboard jazz albums. Collaboration has been a big part of Logan's career. She has toured internationally with Dave Koz and Postmodern Jukebox, and has also shared the stage with artists across the musical spectrum, including Alabama Shakes, The Commodores, Meghan Trainor, Gerald Albright, Rick Braun, and Kenny Lattimore. And then there's her album with her Bigger Than Average band, released in 2024. It features an 18-piece band. Now it's time for a one-night-only collaboration with the Missouri Jazz Orchestra, better known as Mojo. It's an arrangement Logan is very comfortable with. "This is really easy for me, this format," she said. "I'm collaborating with professionals in Springfield who, when I send them the Dropbox full of music that we've accumulated, they know what to do with it. We show up, we make friends, shake hands, and do a show that night. And that's the tradition I learned as a kid, and now I'm doing it all the time because my manager finally said, 'Let's make a big band album.'" The following subheading reads that Logan aims to be accessible on social media. And a photo of her is below that as she is singing in what appears to be a bright pink or red pantsuit. And she's backed up by a large band and a pianist. The set list for the performance will include a lot of originals, mostly from Aubrey Logan and her Bigger Than Average band. The set list for the show will include Done Pretending, Remembering Song, and Airport Codes, a song that is very popular with her fans. "Don't worry, we're playing it," she said. There are also covers, including Logan's very jazzy arrangement of Carole King's I Feel the Earth Move and Dreams by Stevie Nicks. And then other jazz standards to honor the tradition, Logan said. Sunny Side of the Street, Route 66, the old stuff that people want. And what should audiences who've never seen an Aubrey Logan show before expect? Hopefully, they should expect to laugh their face off and cry. Not in the same song, she said. Hopefully, they expect to leave feeling like their spirits are lifted, like they were super duper entertained, and like it was excellent, but still relatable. That's my goal. Logan also wants audiences to know she's accessible and easy to find on social media, especially Instagram, she added. But TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, and everything like that, they can go listen ahead of time, especially to the big band album, because that'll give them a taste of what's in store. The following headline reads, "Enjoy free live music at the Gilios Jazz Festival." And we have a photo as patrons enjoy regional jazz talent in the architecturally rich Gilios Jazz Cafe. This is inside the alcoves as the Jazz Masters art display is curated in cooperation with the Smithsonian Institution. There are a lot of folks sitting in this alcove, and there are plenty of very colorful pieces of artwork surrounding them. Also very high ceilings, beautiful lighting. Looks like a very intimate but welcoming space. Tickets are on sale for the headlining concert from Logan and Mojo. They range from $29 to $34. The rest of the Gilios Jazz Festival is completely free and open to the public. The Gilios Jazz Cafe will host 5 performances leading up to the headlining concert, running from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The schedule is 11 a.m., Matt Harp Trio. Noon, we have Ham, Aho, and Boris Trio. 1 p.m., we have the Arthur Duncan Trio. 2 p.m., the Ryan Fort Trio. And 3 p.m. is Steve Bach. The Gilios is teaming up with Big Slice Golf and Games to offer food and drinks during the festival. For $8, concert goers get a slice of pizza plus a soda or water. You can make it a slice and a beer for $2 more. There will also be premium cocktails at the Gilios bar. Get a sneak preview of the Gilios Jazz Festival during First Friday Art Walk on April 3rd. On the 3rd floor will be exhibits from Gilios resident companies, beer and handcrafted cocktails, and a live jazz set for members of Mojo beginning at 6:30 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. So, do you want to go? The Gilios Jazz Festival is April 4th beginning at 11 a.m. and concluding with the headlining concert featuring the Missouri Jazz Orchestra and special guest Aubrey Logan at 7:30 p.m. It is located at the historic Gilios Theater at 325 Park Central East. And regarding tickets, performances at the Gilios Jazz Cafe are free. Tickets for the headlining concert are $29 to $34 and are available on the Gilios Theater website. For more information, you can visit the Gilios Theater website at giliostheater.com or follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/Gilios Theater. And we have several obituaries this week. Coming to us from the Springfield News-Leader. First up, we have Mackenzie Ann LaRiviere, age 40, who passed away peacefully on March 25th, 2026, in Houston, Texas, surrounded by her family after a courageous 3-year battle with breast cancer. Mackenzie was born on March 2nd, 1986, in Springfield, Missouri, to Angela and David Neville. She grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas, before returning to Springfield, where she graduated from Kickapoo High School in 2004. She later earned her bachelor's degree in communications from the University of Missouri in 2008. She built a career in television production, working for Entertainment Tonight and E! News, where she was known for her organizational skills, creativity, and energy. Mackenzie was a devoted wife to her husband, Francois, and a loving mother to their son Sebastian, who was the light of her life. She was known for her lighthearted, fun, and playful spirit, and for the joy she brought to those around her. She was deeply family-oriented and found happiness in the time spent with loved ones and the many pets she cared for throughout her life. Her faith in Jesus Christ was a guiding presence and a source of strength through life's trials and triumphs. She is survived by her husband, Francois LaRiviere, their beloved son, Sebastian, her parents, Angela and David Neville, her grandmother, Jerry Neville, her sister, Whitney Wallace, and her brother-in-law, Ben Wallace, as well as many extended family members and dear friends who will continue to carry her memory forward. She was welcomed into heaven by her grandmother, Charlene Whitaker, her grandfather, Melvin Whitaker, her grandfather, Robert Neville, and her brother-in-law, Daniel LaRiviere. A visitation will be held from 5 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, April 2nd, 2026 at Green Lawn East Funeral Home in Springfield, Missouri. Scott Allen Roberts, age 74, of Springfield, Missouri, passed away peacefully on Friday, March 20th, 2026, surrounded by family and friends. Scott was born on December 9th, 1951 in Davenport, Iowa, to George and Viola Roberts. He graduated from Webster Groves High School in 1969 and earned degrees in education and accounting from the University of Missouri. He became a certified public accountant and moved to Springfield in 1980. In 1984, he opened his own CPA practice, serving the Springfield community with integrity, humor, and personal dedication for 45 years before retiring in 2021. Scott was devoted to his family, friends, and community. He loved golf, antiques, sports memorabilia, classic British sports cars, Van Gogh, Mizzou football, Cardinals baseball, and sharing lunch and laughter with friends. He was known for his sharp mind, wicked sense of humor, and quiet generosity. He married Dee Telting on August 21st, 1999. Together they built a life centered on love, family, and friendship. Scott was a proud father and grandfather. He is survived by his wife, Dee Telting of Springfield, his son David Roberts, Esquire, and wife Courtney Brode Roberts of Alexandria, Virginia, and his grandchildren Nathaniel Lawrence Roberts and Caroline Elizabeth Roberts. He is also survived by his brother Dave Roberts Sr., along with extended family and many dear friends. A celebration of life will be held Saturday, April 18th, 2026 from 3 to 5 p.m. at University Plaza Hotel and Convention Center in Springfield, Missouri. Arrangements and cremation directed by Gorman Scharf Funeral Home and Brentwood Christian Church. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be made to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital or the Humane Society of Southwest Missouri. Ronald L. Moore Sr., age 86, passed away March 27, 2026, Arrangements provided by Green Lawn Funeral Home North. Services on April 2nd, 1 p.m. at Missouri Veterans Cemetery. Michael Dwayne Drews, age 66, passed away on March 21st, 2026 at Citizens Memorial Hospital in Bolivar following a short illness. Michael was born on April 28, 1959 to Carl Dwayne and Leona Lola Jean Drews. He married Tina Lancaster on May 25, 1994 in Bolivar. Michael was preceded in death by his parents and his sister-in-law, Sharon Souza. He is survived by his son, Michael Thomas, and wife Jessica, and their daughter, Marin of Moberly, his brother, Richard Souza, and nephew, Josh of Independence, and his brother and sister-in-law, David and Jan Drews of Shell Knob. Mike loved spending time in Shell Knob, where his family often gathered during his childhood. In his younger years, he was a talented and artistic cabinet maker, known for his craftsmanship and creativity. The family extends their heartfelt gratitude to the staff at Northwood Hills Care Center for their compassionate care. A special thank you is given to Transportation Coordinator Jeremy Skinner. Private family services will be held at a later date. Helen Turpin, age 86, passed away March 28, 2026. Arrangements provided by Adams Funeral Home in Nixa. Services on April 4th at 1 p.m. at Adams Funeral Home in Nixa and Delaware Cemetery, also in Nixa. Linda Payne passed away on January 15, 2026 in San Antonio, Texas. She was born on August 12, 1951 in Springfield. She is survived by Mason Payne and his son Austin, and his wife Amanda, their sons Cooper and Carter, brother Mike Hunter, his wife Shine, and their family, nephew Jeff Garland and his family, Richie and Kim and their family. Linda was predeceased by her older brother L.D. Garland and his wife Jo and nephew Bruce. A celebration of life will be held Saturday, April 18th at 11 a.m. at All Saints Anglican Church at 2751 East Galloway Street in Springfield, Missouri. Nancy Sue McIlvain. Nancy will be remembered fondly by all who knew her. May her memory bring comfort and peace to those whose lives she touched. Barbara Bruton, age 88, passed away March 31st, 2026. Arrangements provided by Green Lawn Funeral Home North. Services on April 7th at 11 a.m. at Green Lawn Funeral Home North and Green Lawn Memorial Gardens. And finally, we have Jo Elaine Joy Bartlett. Jo Elaine Joy Smith Bartlett left this life March 29th, 2026. Joy was born to Spider and Juanita Smith on March 4th, 1946 at St. John's Hospital in Springfield. She is little sister to Van and Kay and big sister to her brother John. Joy had a love and appreciation for the outdoors. Growing up, she treasured her horse Scout. She spent summers at their family cabin on the Jacks Fork River, where she loved fishing and canoeing with her friends and family. Joy and John Bartlett were wed 47 years. John, daughters Kim and Jill, and her beloved granddaughter Riley will miss her and her quiet, abiding strength. She will also be missed by many cousins, nieces, nephews, extended family, and friends. True to who she is, she wanted no formal service. Her ashes will be scattered into the Jacks Fork River. And skeptical Missouri senators consider a bill legalizing video lottery games. This story from Rudy Keller with the Missouri Independent is brought to us by the Springfield News-Leader. A lawyer for a company hoping to break into Missouri's gambling market told a state Senate panel Wednesday, April 1st, that unregulated slot machines are siphoning millions from schools and that lawmakers should respond by legalizing video lottery games. Matt Hortenstein, chief counsel for Illinois-based J&J Ventures, called enforcement efforts a whack-a-mole game unless retailers have a ready replacement for the machines currently proliferating in convenience stores, bars, and fraternal halls around the state. If a particular form of unregulated game is found to be illegal under Missouri gambling laws, he said, developers will change the games and the process will start all over again. Following is a photo of two no-chance gambling machines that awaited customers back in 2021 at a convenience store in Columbia. Local law enforcement doesn't have the resources to match the game vendors, he said. The court can only address what comes before the court. That singular machine that is the subject matter of that criminal enforcement, and industry will adapt to it, Hortenstein said. Hortenstein was testifying April 1st during a hearing of the Select Committee on Gaming in support of a House-passed bill that would give the Missouri Lottery Commission the authority to license video games for installation in retail locations across the state. During the hearing, the 5-member committee heard conflicting arguments. Promoters said video lottery would produce badly needed revenue for education and help retailers sustain their businesses. Opponents said lawmakers should let law enforcement push the unregulated games out of the state and that the bill violates constitutional restrictions on gambling and the way tax money from gambling is used. The bill has been one of the most heavily lobbied of the season. J&J employs 23 lobbyists, including 15 hired since the start of 2025. Torch Electronics of Wildwood, one of the biggest purveyors of the unregulated slot machines, employs 13 lobbyists. And all the players in the gambling industry have been heavy political contributors, giving $3.3 million to campaigns since the start of 2025. Casinos oppose the bill because they operate the only legal slot machines in the state. And Torch, which in past years opposed the legislation, is neutral this year because the bill does not bar the company from becoming licensed to provide video lottery terminals. Following is a photo of Senate President Pro Tem Cindy O'Laughlin, a Republican from Shelbina, as she speaks to reporters during a March 12th news conference. She has short hair and glasses and a burnt orange suit jacket over her white buttoned-up collared shirt. The bill narrowly passed the House, and it faces an uncertain future. Senate President Pro Tem Cindy O'Laughlin, a Shelbina Republican who chairs the committee, told reporters after the hearing that her resistance to expanding gambling has not changed. My position is that it is detrimental to family security, O'Laughlin said. O'Laughlin said she will meet individually with the committee's other 4 members before setting a date for a vote on the bill. If it were up to me, I would have had them all removed by now, O'Laughlin said of the slot machines. Under the bill, the Missouri Lottery Commission would be given power to license retailers to offer up to 8 video lottery terminals at a single location. The games would have to be in a designated area of the establishment, not visible from the entrance. It would be illegal for anyone under 21 to play, and each game would have to pay out at least 80% of the money wagered. The profits would be split 3 ways, with the lottery taking 31% and retailers splitting the rest with game vendors. City and county governments would have 120 days after the bill takes effect to decide if they want to opt out of having video lottery games in their community. Other provisions would impose a $250 per machine fee to pay for services for people with developmental disabilities and increase the $2 boarding fee paid by casinos by adjusting it for inflation since 1993 when it was imposed. If the law was in effect now, the fee would increase to $4.56 on July 1st. The fee pays for the operations of the Missouri Gaming Commission, which regulates casinos, and any money left over is used to fund veterans nursing homes. Under the bill, 50 cents of the fee would be dedicated to building a museum to house artifacts from the Arabia Steamboat Museum in Kansas City, which is closing in November. The bill is estimated to generate about $300 million in new revenue for education and $56 million for veterans services. With thousands of unregulated machines in operation around the state is losing that revenue, said State Representative Bill Hardwick, a Republican from Dixon and sponsor of the bill. He told the committee that ambiguities in state law make enforcement difficult. The bill will force retailers to remove unregulated slot machines within a year, he said. The problem will never be resolved unless the legislature changes the law, Hardwick said. Since about 2019, Missouri has seen a proliferation of unregulated games. Owners contend they are legal under Missouri law because they have a pre-reveal feature that allows players to see if the next result is a winner before placing a bet. Torch calls them no-chance gaming, contending the pre-reveal feature removes the element of chance. Games based on chance, like a slot machine, are illegal under the Missouri Constitution outside of casinos or the lottery, while games that have an element of skill are not. That legal uncertainty has given the machines the name gray market games. The Missouri State Highway Patrol filed about 200 cases with county prosecutors in 2019 and 2020, alleging the machines violate state law. But few actual charges were filed in court, and most targeted convenience store owners for misdemeanor violations. Torch Electronics, the biggest player in the market, along with Warrenton Oil Co., one of its biggest clients, has pushed back aggressively both in courts and in the legislature. The company's unsuccessfully sought a ruling that its games were legal and protected from enforcement, and is pursuing an appeal of a ruling that its games violate a city ordinance passed in Springfield. Following is a photo of a notice placed on the no chance gaming machines. It's a disclaimer that announces it's a no contest or no chance amusement device, and that is how they declare it does not violate state law. Enforcement efforts have ramped up again since a federal judge ruled in February that Torch's machines, quote, meet the statutory definition of gambling device and are therefore illegal under Missouri law when played outside a licensed casino. Just before the decision, Attorney General Catherine Hanaway announced she was cooperating with federal investigators looking at the games and has since filed lawsuits and felony criminal charges against convenience store owners in Greene and Dunklin counties. Lawmakers should let those cases play out, said Mark Ellinger, a general counsel for the Missouri Gaming Association, the lobbying organization for casinos. More than a century ago, Ellinger said, the courts ruled that games with pre-reveal features are illegal. In 1913, in a case out of Moberly, a restaurant owner who had a gum dispenser that also paid out tokens worth 5 cents each was found to be operating an illegal game, even though customers knew if the next play would provide a win or just gum. The elements that made the gum dispensers illegal are the same elements present in the unregulated games, he said. They are not gray market machines, Ellinger said. They are not no-chance machines. They are illegal slot machines. The bill is unconstitutional, Ellinger said, because it authorizes games of chance and because it diverts money from education programs. Only a statewide vote on a constitutional amendment would make them legal, he said. Scott Poole, an attorney for J&J, said the bill is constitutional. The revenue that would go to veterans and other programs are fees on the retailers and vendors, not money from players, he said. The funding provisions are absolutely constitutional, he said. The money generated by unregulated machines has become a major source of support for convenience store owners, said Lynn Wallace, owner of a company that operates 50 convenience stores. When the machines were being introduced, she said, some retailers took them and others did not. The ones that did are enjoying larger profits, she said. Her company has 18 stores where the games are installed, she said, and took in more than $1.5 million in 2025. She estimated there are 30,000 to 40,000 unregulated machines across Missouri. There are approximately 13,000 slot machines at the state's regulated casinos. With all the machines that are generating this revenue, the state should be taking some advantage of that, Wallace said. Angie Schulte, lobbyist for Casey's General Stores, said the company studied what it would make if it put the games in their stores. Of the company's 400 stores in Missouri, 148 are large enough to house the games. With 4 to 5 games per store, she said, the company estimated it could increase profits by $63,000 in each location. There is no accounting of the amounts being wagered in the unregulated games. Based on Schulte's estimate of revenue and the low end of Wallace's estimate on the numbers, profits could be approaching $2 billion annually. The state's revenue from gambling totaled about $700 million in the most recent fiscal year. At the 13 casinos, $18.2 billion was wagered, and the state received $363 million from the 21% tax on the money from lost wagers. So far, tax revenue from casinos is up about 7.5% this fiscal year, meaning the amounts being lost are going up. Since December 1st, everyone over 21 with a smartphone can make bets on sporting events. In the first 3 months, $1.2 billion was wagered. The lottery sold $1.6 billion in tickets in the fiscal year that ended June 30th and provide $337 million for education programs. The lottery's net revenue is up about 4% so far in the current fiscal year. Missouri will need revenue if it wants to eliminate the income tax, Hortenstein said. Video lottery will keep its promise, unlike sports wagering, he said. During the campaign in 2024, promoters of sports wagering aired commercials that portrayed it as a boon to education funding. But that constitutional amendment included provisions allowing sports bookmakers to deduct all of their promotional costs from their net revenue. Betting began December 1st, and in the first 2 months, the dominant players in the market, FanDuel and DraftKings, paid no taxes and carried over paper losses into February. The total tax revenue was $659,196 from all sports books. Both companies reported net earnings in February, and the total taxes from sports wagering for the month was $1.2 million. The results from sports betting should be a spur to act on the video lottery bill, Hortenstein said. Lawmakers were lobbied heavily to legalize sports betting before the initiative, and lawmakers probably would have more strict limits on deductions for promotional costs. Let's finish the work and address this properly through the legislative process that you can control, Hortenstein said, and make the best possible solution to this problem. This story was first published at MissouriIndependent.com. Note, gambling involves risks. Please only gamble with funds that you can comfortably afford to lose. While we do our utmost to offer good advice and information, we cannot be held responsible for any loss that may be incurred as a result of gambling. We do our best to make sure all the information that we provide on this site is correct. However, from time to time, mistakes will be made and we will not be held liable. Please check any stats or information if you are unsure how accurate they are. No guarantees are made with rewards to results or financial gain. All forms of betting carry financial risk, and it is up to the individual to make bets with or without the assistance of information provided on this site, and we cannot be held responsible for any loss that may be incurred as a result following the betting tips provided on this site. Past performances do not guarantee success in the future, and betting odds fluctuate from 1 minute to the next. The material contained on this site is intended to inform, entertain, and educate the reader, and in no way represents an inducement to gamble legally or illegally or any sort of professional advice. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call the National Council on Problem Gambling 24/7 at 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-522-4700, 1-800-BETS-OFF, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Sports betting and gambling are not legal in all locations. Be sure to comply with laws applicable where you reside. It is your sole responsibility to act in accordance with your local laws. And the Blind Community Thrift Store is a spacious 17,000 square foot thrift store located in Springfield, Missouri. It holds the distinction of being the first retail store worldwide to incorporate NaviLens technology, which significantly enhances accessibility for the blind, visually impaired, and non-English speaking individuals. This innovative system enables customers to navigate and shop with minimal assistance, fostering independence and confidence. The store operates as a nonprofit organization dedicated to generating funds that support the provision of adaptive technology and training for the blind and visually impaired community, often at little to no cost. Visitors can learn more about the organization and access its services by visiting the store in person at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri, or by exploring the website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The website offers comprehensive information about the store's mission, services, and opportunities for community involvement, as well as details about the free store available to residents in the Springfield area. And Trump signs 100% tariff on brand name pharmaceuticals. This article from Zach Anderson in USA Today is brought to us by the Springfield News-Leader. which says President Donald Trump ordered a 100% tariff on brand name pharmaceuticals produced overseas as his administration escalates efforts to push drug companies to manufacture in the United States. Trump threatened to impose the tariff last year, but has since worked to negotiate deals with drug companies to lower their prices and bring drug production to the U.S. Multiple companies have agreed to such deals. Drug companies that commit to moving production to the United States will face a 20% tariff while they are transitioning, and no tariff if they also agree to lower prices to so-called most favored nation levels paid by other countries, according to the order. The full tariff will be levied if drug production isn't in the U.S. in 4 years. The European Union, Japan, South Korea, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom are exempt from the tariff due to existing trade deals with the United States. A senior White House official said the tariff will help ensure the United States is not beholden to other countries for life-saving drugs. The tariff takes effect on July 31st for some companies and September 29th for others, depending on their size. The United States is heavily reliant on imports, threatening to limit United States access to life-saving medications in the event of global supply chain disruption due to geopolitical or economic disruption, the order Trump signed April 2nd states, adding that about 53% of patented drugs distributed in the U.S. are manufactured outside the country. Steep tariffs could increase drug prices, though experts say. Roughly 90% of U.S. drug prescriptions are for generic medications. The 100% tariff applies to brand name drugs that still have a patent, not generics. Trump, in enacting the pharmaceutical levy, is using a tariff authority that wasn't impacted by a Supreme Court ruling striking down his use of emergency powers to enact sweeping tariffs. The new levy on pharmaceuticals came on the anniversary of Trump launching his aggressive tariff program last year. It has since faced setbacks in court and strong criticism from Democrats and some Republicans worried about higher prices. The Democratic National Committee said April 2nd that Trump is damaging the economy with a, quote, reckless trade war. The Trump administration has been undeterred by polling that shows the tariffs are unpopular. The White House celebrated Trump's trade agenda in an April 2nd press release, stating it is, quote, making our country wealthy, strong, and respected once again. This is just the beginning of the president's transformation of global trade. Americans can count on the best being yet to come, White House spokesman Kush Desai said in a statement. On April 2nd, Trump also ordered a change to the tariff on foreign steel, aluminum, and copper that the White House official said is intended to prevent steel exporters in other countries from lowering their tariff costs by undervaluing the steel they export to the United States. The president also revised the tariff levied on metals and finished products, eliminating it for products with less than 15% metal and changing how it is calculated for products with more metal content. Trump has pressured drug companies to lower prices and invest in U.S. production. The president held a White House event in December to announce that 9 companies, Amgen, Boehringer Ingelheim, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Genentech, Gilead, GSK, Merck, Novartis, and Sanofi, had agreed to cut prices. The administration rolled out a new website, TrumpRx, in February, aimed at helping Americans buy medicines at lower prices. The White House official said drug companies also have committed to hundreds of billions of dollars in U.S. investments. This story has been updated to add new information. And let's see here. Ban on THC seltzers, other intoxicating hemp products, heads to the Missouri governor. This breaking story from the Missouri Independent 29 minutes ago is brought to us from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Rebecca Rivas reports that a bill heading to Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe's desk would take all intoxicating hemp products off the shelf starting November 12th, including THC seltzers currently sold in bars and grocery stores, aligning state law with an upcoming federal ban. If Congress reverses course and decides to allow the sale of these products, Missouri would only permit them to be sold in licensed marijuana dispensaries. And if Congress chooses to delay the ban for a couple years, Missouri would still ban all products except for intoxicating beverages. The House passed a bill sponsored by Republican State Representative Dave Hinman of O'Fallon with a vote of 126 to 23. It passed the Senate Tuesday night and now heads to the governor for his signature or veto. The bill also includes provisions to to protect marijuana consumer privacy and cannabis workers' right to organize, which were amendments state senators added late Tuesday evening. Hinman's legislation was one of the first bills to get House approval this year. He previously told The Independent the legislation was a priority for the state's leadership, including the governor, attorney general, and House Speaker. I am happy that a bipartisan supermajority of legislators in both the Senate and House agree that something needs to be done in limiting intoxicating hemp products, Hinman told The Independent Thursday. This bill is important for local police and prosecutors to keep Missouri citizens safe. Intoxicating hemp products with as much as 1,000 milligrams of THC are being sold in smoke shops outside of Missouri's licensed marijuana dispensaries, and they aren't regulated by any government agency. Missouri lawmakers have failed to pass legislation regarding these products since 2023. The bill comes amidst uncertainty on where the federal government will finally land on regulations for these products. President Donald Trump signed an executive order in December ordering his administration to work with Congress to develop a framework that permits full-spectrum CBD products which have a trace amount of THC. On Wednesday, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services rolled out an initiative that could cover $500 per year worth of hemp-derived THC of 3 milligrams per serving and CBD products for eligible users. The products under this program would be illegal in Missouri under the bill approved Thursday. And Answer Man. Reader says he went to the park to play tennis, but the courts were gone. Steve Pokin brings us this story with the Springfield Daily Citizen that begins with a photo of Ewing Park. Looking to see what happened to the tennis courts. Answer Man. I'm an old guy who likes to play tennis. I went over to Ewing Park, as I have for decades, to play some tennis, and the courts were gone. They were replaced by a nice seated area. Why? Bill Spruance of Springfield. I contacted Jenny Filmer Edwards, spokesperson for the Springfield Greene County Park Board, and here's what she had to say. Due to age and ground conditions, the Ewing Park tennis courts were in very poor condition. Over time, the ground beneath them had settled, leaving an uneven playing surface, cracks in the court, and several spots where water had pooled and degraded the court. The Park Board deemed these courts unsafe and approved their removal in July 2025. They and their lights were removed in mid-February. The 3 courts were at the northwest corner of the Ewing Park and Sports Complex, which is located at 1400 South Scenic Avenue. The plan is to reseed the ground and convert it to turf, Edwards tells me. The Ewing tennis courts were underutilized compared to other courts, and the Park Board does not currently have plans to replace them, Edwards says. There are 14 other parks with free outdoor tennis courts, including Nichols, Westport, Zagonye, Grant Beach, and Phelps Grove Perry tennis courts, which are all fewer than 5 miles from Ewing. This spring, the Park Board is resealing the courts at Gillenwater's Tennis Complex, the Perry Courts, and 8 outdoor court at Cooper Tennis Complex. These 3 locations are our busiest for outdoor tennis. We also have 12 indoor courts at Cooper Tennis Complex. This is Answer Man column number 170. And excuse me. That article snuck in on me and it was an old one. Route CC roundabout project to begin the week of April 6th. Zoe McIntyre and the Springfield Daily Citizen bring this story that starts with a photo of the intersection at Route CC and Main Street. And this was taken yesterday, April 2nd, 2026. After more than 3 years of planning and multiple public meetings, the Missouri Department of Transportation will soon start work on a roundabout at one of Nix's busiest intersections. About 8,300 vehicles pass through the intersection at Main Street and Highway CC every day, according to MoDOT's website. MoDOT announced that it will begin work on the roundabout during the week of April 6th. The first phase of work on the project will have little impact on traffic, according to Regan Mitchell, communications specialist for MoDOT's Southwest District. Work will begin on the north and southwest portions of the intersection. During construction, lighted message boards will alert drivers of intersection closures and detours. MoDOT encourages the public to sign up for email alerts about traffic impacts. The link to receive email alerts is located near the bottom of the project webpage. In addition to installing a roundabout, MoDOT will complete the stormwater and pedestrian improvements. The entire project is expected to cost $6.1 million and be completed in the fall of 2027. In a separate project, Nix is expanding Main Street between Tracker Road and Highway CC to add a center turn lane and improve pedestrian accommodations, sight distance, and stormwater infrastructure. The city budgeted $3.6 million for this work in its 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan. And moving on to some news from 417 Magazine. Let's hear about some things to do this week in Springfield, Missouri from Taryn Shore McKee. This article begins with a photo of the Cardinals game here in Springfield with a just absolutely beautiful sunset sky. For last-minute planners, Easter options run the gamut. You'll find everything from brunch at local favorites like Cassidy Station and the Ozark Mill to a sunrise service at Hammond's Field, plus plenty of ways to get outdoors and enjoy the hopefully cooperative spring weather. A gentle but also low-key urgent nudge. Tulip season is peaking right now, and the window is short, like go within a few days short. As of yesterday, April 1st, most local farms are in bloom with rows of vibrant tulips, great photo ops, and all the fresh air and sunshine you've been craving after winter. Beyond the holiday, there's plenty on the calendar this week. Comedian Josh Blue, First Friday Art Walk, the Cardinals opening day, and an Alpha Gal friendly farm dinner. Brunching, bloom chasing, or just happy to be outside, it's a good week to make some plans. Beginning yesterday through Saturday, April 4th, we have Josh Blue at the Springfield Comedy Club. Those tickets range from $33.99 to $44.99. Catch comedian Josh Blue, celebrated for his sharp-as-a-tack improv style and joking, openly about having cerebral palsy. Blue has several of his own hour-long specials, won Last Comic Standing in 2006, and does over 200 shows each year. Today, Friday, April 3rd, we have First Friday Art Walk downtown and in Park Central Square. This is a free event from 6 to 10 p.m. Downtown becomes one giant gallery during First Fridays with numerous venues displaying art in various mediums. In addition to more traditional art, you can enjoy live music, fashion, and food across 20-plus businesses, including the Gilios Theater, MSU's Brick City Gallery, the Creamery Arts Center, and more. Number of events tomorrow, Saturday, April 4th. We have brunch at the farm at Cassidy Station from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cassidy Station partnered with First Watch to bring guests a tasty brunch in a scenic farm setting. First Watch is bringing the eats, while Cassidy Depot Bar and Cassidy Coffee Company will provide all the drinks. Come for favorites like the Floridian French Toast and Biscuits and Gravy. The Gilios Jazz Festival at Gilios Theater. Tickets $29 to $34 at 7 p.m. We have special guest Aubrey Logan, Queen of Sass, who joins the Missouri Jazz Orchestra, or Mojo, for a night of excellent jazz. Logan, who plays trombone and sings, has toured internationally and performed at Radio City Music Hall and the Sydney Opera House. Beforehand, pop into the Gilios Jazz Cafe for cocktails and pizza. The Tulips and Baby Animals Festival at Gardner's Orchard. Those tickets are $13.93, and that is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Spring on the Farm is all about everything fresh and new, from you-pick tulips to brand new, irresistibly cuddly baby animals. Visitors also get access to a huge jump pad, giant slide, trike track, bubble station, photo ops, and more. This is taking place Saturdays in April. Finally, for Saturday, April 4th, we have Eroica, Springfield Symphony Orchestra. Those tickets are $52 to $72, and it's at 7:30 p.m. This month's Springfield Symphony Orchestra performance is part of its classical series. It features Symphony No. 3, Eroica, by Ludwig van Beethoven, Violin Concerto by Piotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, and more, and rising star Aubrey Oliverson joins the orchestra. Sunday, April 5th, we have Easter at the Ozark Mill. It's a $72 ticket for adults and $25 ticket for children. ages 4 to 12. That takes place 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Treat your family to a traditional full Easter buffet, complete with prime rib, citrus glazed ham, a chicken and waffle station, build your own mac and cheese, and a full dessert spread. Or you can hit the Sunrise Easter celebration at Hammond's Field. This is a free event, takes place 6:30 to 7:45 a.m. A partnership between Hammond's Field staff and local church volunteers. This interdenominational community event is open to everyone who wishes to celebrate Jesus Christ's resurrection. The Salvation Army will provide coffee and hot cocoa. Tuesday, April 7th is Springfield Cardinals opening day at Hammond's Field. Those tickets range from $11 to $45, and that takes place at 6:35 p.m. Cheer on the Cardinals, aka the reigning Texas League champs, as they kick off the season with a game against the Tulsa Drillers. The team will don special championship gold jerseys, and the stadium will have $2 Taco Tuesday specials, along with tequila drink specials for fans 21 plus. Arrive early for a truck parade and stay after for opening day fireworks. And finally, Wednesday, April 8th, we have an Alpha Gal friendly farm to bridge dinner at Finley Farms. Those tickets are $125, and this event takes place at 6 p.m. Finley Farms' recent Alpha Gal friendly dinner was so popular, they're hosting another. This unique dining experience immerses you in a twinkly, elevated atmosphere. Sit family style on the Riverside Bridge under the twilight sky and enjoy a 6-course menu with wine pairings. Bonus, many ingredients are grown right on the farm. And coming to us next from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Let's talk about the First Friday Art Walk as it supports nonprofits with special shows. This story is by Jeff Kessinger and begins with a beautiful art piece of a woman with an owl. The piece is titled Of Wisdom and Silence, and it's by Springfield artist Brandy Harris. It's part of the group exhibition Habitat and will be on display at Obelisk Home during April's First Friday Art Walk. Obelisk is donating 20% of the proceeds from all artwork sold in the exhibition to Habitat for Humanity. 2 stops along the April 3rd First Friday Art Walk will display art for a cause, benefiting a pair of Springfield area nonprofits. One of those stops gives patrons a chance to bid on beautifully decorated birdhouses. There are 15 venues participating in this month's Art Walk, a monthly effort in which galleries and businesses line up arts-related events across downtown Springfield. Everyone is encouraged to walk around the neighborhood and pop into galleries in what organizers call a, quote, self-guided tour. Venues will be open for variable hours until 10 p.m. Obelisk Home at 214 West Phelps Street, Suite 101, presents its 20th annual birdhouse auction benefiting Habitat for Humanity and the opening reception of the Habitat Group exhibition in the main gallery this month. Obelisk will be open from 6 to 10 p.m. for Art Walk. This year is particularly special and a bit sentimental as it will be the final birdhouse auction we host, Sam Evans, gallery director for Obelisk Home, said. Local artists have generously donated their talent to create birdhouses for his silent auction. We have raised over $15,000 for Habitat for Humanity in the last 19 years. Bidding begins on April 3rd at 6 p.m. and ends on May 1st at 10 p.m. Bids can be placed silent auction style at Obelisk Home anytime during business hours. That's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, or 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, or during the First Friday Art Walks in April and May. Want to post a bid remotely? You can call Obelisk at 417-616-6488 or email sam@obeliskhome.com. Bidding updates will be posted weekly on Obelisk Gallery's Instagram page. Obelisk will donate 100% of the proceeds to Habitat for Humanity. Habitat, meanwhile, features work from 23 artists, and 20% of the proceeds for all artwork sold in the exhibition is donated to Habitat for Humanity. Habitat is the essential place where life can thrive, a concept that transcends species and connects us all, the exhibition statement reads. This exhibition explores the fundamental shared need for a safe and nurturing environment, whether it is a nest carefully woven into a high branch, a home built upon a firm foundation, or even a supportive community. This exhibition connects to Habitat for Humanity's mission of bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Art walkers can also explore Brad Noble's exhibition Witness in the lower level gallery. Following is a photo of a wall at the Creamery Arts Center. It says for the second straight year, the Creamery Arts Center will turn blue for True Blue Art for Advocacy. The show is a collaboration between the Springfield Regional Arts Council and the Child Advocacy Center, timed to coincide with the Child Abuse Prevention Month. For the second year, the Springfield Regional Arts Council is collaborating with the Child Advocacy Center for True Blue Art for Advocacy in recognition of April's Child Abuse Prevention Month. Blue symbolizes trust, strength, and healing, values at the core of the Child Advocacy Center's mission to support children through the challenges of abuse and recovery, a media release said. This exhibition aims to bring awareness to this vital cause while uplifting the message of hope, resilience, and community spirit. The opening reception for True Blue Art for Advocacy runs from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Creamery Arts Center, located at 411 North Sherman Parkway, and features live music from Hey Pam. Hotel Vandevort at 305 East Walnut Street will feature artwork by Jenny Green in its lobby from 4:30 to 10 p.m. Green is a 2D artist specializing in serigraphy, a versatile stencil-based printmaking technique. She makes art full-time in her printmaking studio at New Moon Studio Space. Jenny enjoys all things 2D and has realized over time that she has an affinity for the 3 F's: faces, flowers, and figures, a media release said. Green, a retired teacher as well as a mother and wife, grew up in Poplar Bluff but has lived in Springfield for 30 years. A Missouri State University student and visiting professor will both have art on display during the April 3rd First Friday Art Walk. J.L. Long Traders at 318 West Walnut Street will feature work from Drew Roberts, who is pursuing a master's in art education and a bachelor's in printmaking. Her work often focuses on her relationship with femininity and womanhood, the media release said. She explores these relationships using different creative processes, such as a blend of printmaking, fiber arts, and ceramics. J.L. Long Traders will be open until 9 p.m. for Art Walk. Dr. Balaji Ogonwu gets the spotlight at the Jim D. Morris Center for International Programs, located at 301 South Jefferson Avenue. Rough Ideas will be open from 5 to 7 p.m., showcasing the rough ideas that have blossomed into the impasto-style artwork covering MSU's West Plains campus. Ogunwu's work has been collected by notable art enthusiasts and can be found in collections around the world, the media release says. He currently serves as a painting lecturer at the Department of Creative Arts at the University of Lagos in Nigeria. Visitors to Rough Ideas will be able to try their hand at making their own artwork with a professional. 10 other venues are open for April's Art Walk. They are Brick City Gallery at 215 West Mill Street, Drury University Pool Arts Gallery, 940 North Clay Avenue, First and Calvary Presbyterian Church at 820 East Cherry Street, Formed, an artist collective at 210 East Walnut Street, Forming Art Studios at 330 South Avenue, Gailey's Breakfast Cafe at 220 East Walnut Street, Gillios Theater at 325 Park Central East, and Ozark Farm Stop at 401 South Avenue. Park Central Branch Library at 128 Park Central Square, and Transformation Gallery and Tattoo at 330 East Walnut Street. For more information, visit the official First Friday Art Walk website, and that's located at www.springfieldarts.org/first-friday-art-walk, or you can find First Friday Art Walk on Facebook at facebook.com/artwalksgf. And Qdoba is to open its first Nixa location this spring. Zoe McIntyre and the Springfield Daily Citizen bring us a story that says Christian County's first Qdoba is opening in Nixa this spring, according to a spokesperson for the company. The city issued a building permit for owner Jared Commercial and Management to develop the restaurant at 830 West Mount Vernon Street in January 2026. Qdoba spokesperson Paige McLaughlin stated that the operator for the Nixa store is John Ghirardelli, owner of the Burrito Concepts LLC franchise. The company opened its first Qdoba in Springfield on Kansas Expressway in 2004, according to the company website. Ghirardelli operates all 4 Springfield Qdoba locations, in addition to restaurants in Joplin, Branson, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. The Nixa location will employ about 20 staff members. An official opening date for the fast casual Mexican restaurant has not yet been announced. And a man accused of stalking a woman and her child at Target now faces federal child porn charges. This story from Jackie Rewald in the Springfield Daily Citizen says the Springfield man who was charged in state court last fall for allegedly stalking a woman and her child at Target, following them home and grabbing the woman, is now also charged in federal court with receiving and distributing child pornography. Joshua Allen York, age 31, has been in the Greene County Jail since October 30th, 2025, when he was charged with the Class B felony of first-degree kidnapping, the Class E felony of first-degree stalking, and the Class D felony of first-degree child endangerment. Springfield police say York stalked a woman and her 2-year-old child while they shopped at Target on October 15, 2025, followed her home, and then grabbed her outside of her apartment while she was holding her toddler. According to a sealed indictment filed on March 4, 2026, York was indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts of knowingly receiving and distributing child pornography. That indictment was unsealed and made public on March 23, 2026. The federal child pornography charges stem from alleged activities between 2023 and 2025. Other than the time frame, no information about the evidence is included in the indictment. Following is a photo of Joshua York, a booking photo taken by the Greene County Sheriff's Office as he is pictured in a black t-shirt and looking a little red in the face as he stands in front of a gray cinder block wall. According to the probable cause statement from the state charges, York and the victim did not know each other. The woman and her child arrived at the Target on East Primrose Street around 1:30 p.m., October 15, 2025. According to the statement, York was already in the store, wandering around when he observed the victim and began following her. The woman checked out, left the store, and got into her car. York allegedly got into a black GMC Terrain and followed her. According to the statement, multiple traffic cameras throughout Springfield captured the 2 vehicles, with York's GMC following the victim's vehicle. The woman drove to her apartment in southwest Springfield, parked, and began carrying groceries inside. Since her son was asleep, she left him in the car while she made multiple trips to carry groceries inside. On her last trip, she grabbed her son and her purse and started to walk toward her apartment. According to the statement, the woman said she got a feeling she should look behind her. When she did, she allegedly saw York squatting behind a car parked next to hers. York allegedly stood up and began to move toward her, and she yelled, "What are you doing?" According to the statement, York rushed toward the victim and grabbed her waist and started pulling her toward the parking lot. The victim, who was still holding her child, began screaming and fighting back. A witness who was driving in the parking lot told police they heard a female screaming a bloody murder scream and ran toward the screaming. The suspect, believed to be York, then ran toward his black SUV and drove away. Police used video surveillance from the apartment complex, a Maverick gas station, and traffic cameras to identify York as the suspect. This disturbing conduct threatens the sense of safety of the victim and all members of our community as they are going about our business, the prosecutor wrote in a request for a warrant. York is scheduled to appear in Greene County Judge Todd Myers' courtroom on April 6th for a case management conference. And Springfield Deli had mold growing in the pizza sauce. Susan Shuk and the Springfield News-Leader bring us the story that says Springfield Greene County Health Department inspectors found mold in pizza sauce and out-of-date cheese being sold at a Springfield deli, according to a March 31st food inspection report. King Food Saver number 20's Deli and Salad Bar at 335 North Nolting Avenue had mold growing in pizza sauce and cheese with sell-by dates of March 19th and March 25th. According to the report, the violations were corrected by discarding the pizza sauce and cheese. Issues found during inspections fall into either priority or non-priority violations. Priority violations impact the safety of the food, such as cross-contamination between raw and ready-to-eat food, improper food temperature, and poor personal hygiene and employee health. Multiple priority violations can lead to an establishment being shut down. Non-priority violations alone do not directly affect food safety, such as dirty floors, sticky tabletops, or outside trash cans not being covered. Food inspections take place 1 to 3 times a year, depending upon the type of food served, the population served, difficulty of food preparation, and past history. Restaurants preparing food from raw ingredients are inspected more often than convenience stores that serve only non-potentially hazardous foods, such as popcorn and soda, according to the Springfield Greene County Health Department. Each report identifies what was happening at the establishment at that time. Consumers who want to know whether a violation is a one-time thing or a pattern are encouraged to refer to previous reports. And DNA results identify a Springfield man as a suspect in a 2024 statutory rape and child enticement case. This article from Jackie Rewald in the Springfield Daily Citizen says a Springfield man who is registered sex offender is suspected of picking up a 14-year-old girl who was a stranger to him, taking her to a motel and raping her in 2024. Sergio E. Rivera, 35, is charged with the Class D felony of second-degree statutory rape and the unclassified felony of enticement of a child. The Greene County Prosecutor's Office filed the charges on Monday, March 30th, 2026, a couple of weeks after police received a report from the Missouri State Highway Patrol Laboratory regarding the analysis of DNA taken from the girl in 2024 that linked Rivera as the suspect. Rivera is still wanted by the U.S. Marshals Service on a 2024 warrant for probation violation, the original charge being military desertion. According to the probable cause statement, authorities believe Rivera has fled the U.S. to Mexico. A warrant has also been issued for the charges filed this week. Rivera was already registered as a sex offender as the result of a 2018 Pulaski County conviction of receipt and distribution of child pornography. According to the probable cause statement, the victim disclosed during an interview at the Child Advocacy Center that she was walking on July 4th, 2024, along a roadway in Greene County when she was approached by a Hispanic man in a red and orange colored truck. She said the man asked for her phone number and gave her his phone number. She said he told her to call him if she ever needed a ride or money. According to the statement, she said the suspect, believed to be Rivera, then drove away, but she later called him and asked for a ride. Rivera allegedly told the girl she, quote, looked young and that he didn't want to get caught with her. He then allegedly took her to a motel, rented a room, and raped her. According to the statement, the victim disclosed that Rivera did not wear a condom during the sexual assault. Rivera, according to the statement, drove the victim to the edge of a wooded area, told her nobody is to know about this, and left her. An investigator with the Springfield Police Department used the suspect's phone number provided by the victim to help identify him as Rivera. Also, the girl underwent a sexual assault examination, and sperm was collected, which resulted in the male DNA profile that was later linked to Rivera. The DNA report documented a, quote, high-stringency state-level legal hit linking Rivera as the suspect, the corporal wrote in the probable cause statement. In the request for a warrant, the prosecutor described Rivera as a danger to the public and specifically for children. Jackie Rewald is a reporter at the Springfield Daily Citizen. She covers public safety, the courts, homelessness, domestic violence, and other social issues. Her office line is 417-837-3659. And I would like to thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.